It's been a complicated and emotional week in Israel. Last Thursday, Israeli Arabs ran out of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, firing guns, and managed to kill 2 Israeli police officers before they were finally shot, while still firing. Israel then set up metal detectors outside of the mosque area, and Palestinians responded by refusing to pass through the metal detectors. I don't quite understand the logic in refusing to pass through a metal detector. It's like saying, well, if I can't bring my machine gun into the mosque, then there's no point in praying at all. The argument from the Muslim world was that Israel had changed the status quo in the Al-Aqsa area by setting up metal detectors. But the status quo had actually changed the day before, when guns were smuggled onto the Temple Mount area. The metal detectors are actually an attempt to restore the previous status quo, a situation in which the Al-Aqsa Mosque was a place of worship rather than an armory. I don't mean to generalize. Some Palestinians did pass through the metal detectors and prayed at the mosque peacefully. But the headlines didn't mention this, which is unfair to Israelis and Palestinians. The media said that the Palestinians who remained outside of the metal detectors were protesting, but they were not. They were actually shouting death threats, saying that they intended to murder Israeli men and mass rape Israeli women, as Muhammad had done in the Khaybar massacre in the year 628. Honest Reporting was present at these so-called protests and heard the death threats in person. But even though translators were readily available to the press, here's what the media had to say about the death threats. Nothing. The next day, Palestinians threw firebombs and burning tires at Israelis. 3 were killed in the act, at least one of them when his own Molotov cocktail exploded in his hands. So far, we haven't found this in any mainstream press. Finally, a 20-year-old Palestinian snuck into the Solomon home in the town of Neve Suf and stabbed a grandfather and his 2 children to death while they were eating Shabbat dinner. The attacker, who was injured in his attack, is now being nursed back to health by Israelis in an Israeli hospital. The victims, Yosef, his daughter Haya, and his son Elad, are dead. Here's what some of the headlines had to say. 6 dead, 6 dead, 6 dead, 3 Israelis and 3 Palestinians killed. Think about this for a minute. The Solomon family is attacked in their home during Shabbat dinner, and the media treats them exactly the same as rioters who are killed while throwing Molotov cocktails and screaming for the mass murder and mass rape of the entire Jewish people. Not all Palestinians were a part of this week's attacks. Some went peacefully to prayers, some stayed home. But some Palestinians think they can get away with murder. They think that whatever they do, no matter how gruesome, the media will always have their back. Let's hope they aren't right.